Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, you're joining us as we explore something really significant, how artificial intelligence is, well, rapidly changing the legal world.
It really is.
And whether you're a legal professional trying to navigate these new tools, or maybe someone just fascinated by technology's impact, or, simply wanting to stay informed about a major shift, this is for you.
Definitely. We've got a fascinating new study in hand that's shedding some real light on exactly what's happening.
Yeah, tell us about that.
That's right. This deep dive is all about a recent, pretty in-depth piece of research. It's titled AI-Powered Lawyering, AI Reasoning Models, Retrieval-Augmented Generation, and the Future of Legal Practice.
Okay, quite a mouthful, but sounds important.
It is, and what makes this study so compelling is its rigorous approach. The researchers conducted what's called a randomized controlled trial with law students.
The gold standard.
Exactly. A really robust way to test effectiveness, minimize bias. And they put two cutting-edge AI technologies through their paces in realistic legal scenarios.
Okay, so our mission today is to really dig into this study, pull out the most crucial insights for everyone listening. We want to understand how these specific AI tools, these reasoning models, and this thing called Retrieval-Augmented Generation, or RGRE, how they're starting to fundamentally reshape how legal work gets done.
And what that could mean for the future. Yeah.
Right, the future of their profession.
Precisely. And I think to really grasp the significance of the findings, it's helpful to know a bit about the two key AI innovations they looked at.
Okay, let's break those down.
So first, you have these AI reasoning models. Think of these as AI that tries to, well, think more strategically before giving an answer.
Okay, how so?
They're designed to structure complex reasoning almost like creating a mental outline, before generating their output. This takes more computational power, that upfront planning.
Right.
And the study looked closely at OpenAI's O1 preview. That's a more advanced model from them as a prime example of this approach.
So more deliberate, structured thinking before it spits anything out.
Got it.
And the second one, Retrieval-Augmented Generation RAG. That sounds, well, it sounds like it does what it says.
It pretty much does. RA is all about making sure the AI's analysis is firmly grounded in actual legal materials.
Like case law, statutes.
Exactly. Case law, statutes, regulations. The core idea here is to significantly cut down on inaccuracies and those notorious hallucinations.
Yes, the AI making things up problem.
Precisely. Where it just invents sources or facts.
Uh-huh.
So the study examined Vincent AI, which is a tool that specifically uses RAGs, to see how well this grounding works in a legal context.
Okay, so two distinct approaches. One focusing on better reasoning processes, the other on staying anchored to real legal sources to avoid errors.
That's a good summary.
And the central question the study aimed to answer, as I understand it, is whether these newer AI technologies can truly overcome the limitations we saw with older models.
Right.
And actually meaningfully improve both the quality and the efficiency of legal work.
Precisely. Can they go beyond just making things faster? Can they actually lead to better legal analysis? That's the key.
And the study's findings offer some really interesting answers, I take it.
They certainly do. Some quite surprising ones, actually.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting. Let's talk about the headline finding. What did the study reveal about the overall impact, the quality of the legal work?
Well, a major takeaway right from the start is that this study suggests a real leap in AI's ability to enhance the fundamental quality of legal work. That's something we haven't consistently seen with earlier models.
A leap. How so?
The researchers found that both O1 Preview, the reasoning model, and Vincent AI, the RG-powered tool, significantly improved the overall quality of legal work. And this wasn't just marginal. It was in 4 out of the 6 realistic legal tasks they gave to these upper-level law students.
Wow. 4 out of 6. That sounds like a really significant step forward, especially when you think about previous reports on older models like GPT-4, maybe not cutting it for complex legal analysis.
So it is a big step. Earlier research often showed only, marginal or inconsistent quality improvements, sometimes none at all.
Right.
This new study really stands out. It suggests we're seeing a genuine advancement in AI's capacity to contribute substantively to legal analysis, not just speed things up.
That's a key aha moment then. It's not just faster, it might actually be better.
That seems to be the implication, yes. Understanding that shift is crucial for seeing where AI in law is heading.
Definitely. But I'm guessing the improvements weren't like identical for both tools across the board. Were there nuances, specific ways each one influenced quality?
Absolutely. And when we delve into the specifics, some fascinating distinctions emerge. It wasn't a uniform effect at all.
Okay.
So Vincent AI, the RAG tool, its main contribution to quality seemed to be in making the legal work clearer, better organized, and more professionally presented.
Okay, presentation structure.
Exactly. But interestingly, its impact on the accuracy of the legal analysis itself was more nuanced.
Oh.
Well, it did lead to fewer instances of hallucinations, significantly fewer made-up legal sources compared to O1 Preview, and actually even fewer than the students who didn't use AI at all in some cases. I think it was 3 total hallucinations versus 11 for O1 and 4 for the control group.
Okay, so fewer fake cases is definitely a good thing.
A very good thing. But that didn't automatically translate into making the core legal reasoning consistently more accurate or insightful across all tasks.
Right, so it stuck to the facts better, but didn't necessarily deepen the analysis itself. What about O1 Preview then, the reasoning model? How did that affect quality?
O1 Preview, on the other hand, drove stronger and more widespread improvements in quality, particularly in the substance of the analysis.
Okay.
This included notable gains in logical flow, the coherence of the argument, and the depth of reasoning, what the researchers called analytical depth. This showed up significantly in 3 of the 6 tasks.
Analytical depth.
Yeah.
So getting beyond just surface level stuff.
Exactly. Think of it as the AI's ability not just to identify relevant information, but to really connect the dots, understand the underlying legal principles, build a more sophisticated, well-supported argument.
Okay, that sounds powerful.
It really suggests the reasoning model was better at tackling the core legal analysis itself, the thinking part.
And there's always a but, isn't there?
Yeah.
You mentioned hallucinations earlier. Was there a trade-off?
Exactly. And it's a crucial one. While O1 Preview was boosting the sophistication of the analysis, it also had more instances of hallucinations,
Oh.
meaning it fabricated legal sources more frequently than Vincent AI did, and even more than the students working without any AI assistance.
So potentially deeper analysis, but a higher risk of just making stuff up.
That's the dynamic they observed, which presents a real challenge, doesn't it? And an opportunity for future development. How do we harness that powerful reasoning while ensuring accuracy and reliability? That's the million-dollar question.
It really is. That's a critical point. Okay, let's switch gears a bit. Speed and productivity. We know efficiency is a huge driver for AI adoption everywhere, law included. What did the study find there?
Well, on the speed front, it was pretty clear-cut. Both AI tools delivered significant improvements.
Both of them.
Yep. Both substantially reduced the time it took to complete tasks, and this was true in 5 out of the 6 assignments.
Wow. And how much faster are we talking?
The time savings range from roughly 12% to about 37%. That represents a pretty considerable efficiency gain in a professional setting.
Absolutely. In a field where the billable hour is often king, saving, a third of your time on a task, it can be transformative.
Precisely. And it gets even more interesting when we look at productivity. The study defined productivity as the level of quality improvement achieved per minute of work.
Oh, okay. So bang for your buck, time-wise.
Exactly. And the results there were even more striking. Vincent AI saw productivity gains ranging from 38% up to a remarkable 115%.
Less than 15%.
Wow. And O1 Preview wasn't far behind, with increases from 34% up to 140%.
Even higher.
These massive gains were particularly pronounced in the more complex tasks, like drafting persuasive legal letters or analyzing intricate complaints.
So it's not just that the students were working faster.
No, they were also producing significantly better results within that reduced time frame.
That really underscores the potential then. A tangible improvement in efficiency without sacrificing quality. In fact, improving quality at the same time.
That's the promise, yes. Getting things done better and faster. It's a compelling argument for integrating these tools, isn't it?
It certainly is. But were these improvements, the speed, the quality, the productivity, were they consistent across all types of legal work? Or did it depend on the task itself?
That's a very insightful question, and no, it wasn't consistent. Interestingly, the quality improvements we've been discussing were primarily concentrated in tasks typically associated with litigation.
Litigation, like what specifically?
Things like drafting a legal memo, analyzing a complaint someone filed, preparing a motion to consolidate different lawsuits, writing a persuasive letter to opposing counsel, even crafting a client email about a dispute.
Okay, so tasks involving analyzing legal arguments, constructing persuasive writing, dealing with conflicts.
Exactly. Stuff related to ongoing or potential legal battles. But here's the really interesting part. The AI tools did not lead to significant quality improvements in the one task included in the study that was more transactional in nature.
And that was...
Drafting a non-disclosure agreement, an NDA.
Huh. That's a fascinating distinction.
Yeah.
Why do you think the AI didn't have the same impact on drafting an NDA? Any theories?
The researchers proposed a couple of potential explanations. Transactional legal work, like drafting standard agreements like an NDA, often relies much more heavily on established templates.
Right, boilerplate language.
Exactly, highly standardized language and practices. And in fact, for that NDA task, the participants were actually given a template to work from.
Ah, okay. Unlike the other tasks.
Right, which wasn't the case for the litigation-oriented assignments. So this pre-existing structure might have limited the AI's opportunity to significantly enhance the quality of the final document.
That makes a lot of sense. If you're starting with a pretty solid, well-structured template, there's maybe less room for the AI to add value in terms of organization or core content.
Precisely. It suggests that AI's immediate and most significant impact might be felt more keenly in legal specialties that involve more novel analysis, more bespoke drafting, and less reliance on that kind of boilerplate.
So the impact might vary quite a bit depending on the practice area. Interesting. Okay, we've looked at the numbers, the quantitative data. What about the more qualitative aspects?
Right.
What did the actual graders, the people reviewing the students' work, notice about the assignments done with AI?
Yeah, the graders provided some really valuable qualitative insights. They generally observed that the work produced by students using either AI tool was easier to read,
Okay.
more polished in its language, more concise, and structurally more coherent.
Sounds like a good editor.
Very much so. They also noted fewer grammatical errors in the AI-assisted writing. This really reinforces those earlier findings about improvements in clarity and organization.
Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Did the graders notice anything beyond just the writing itself, like impact on the students' legal thinking or how they approached the task?
They did. The graders felt that the AI seemed to help the participants focus more directly on the relevant legal issues.
Cutting through the noise.
Perhaps. And also helping them manage their research time more efficiently. This, in turn, appeared to free up more time for the students to actually engage in deeper analysis of those key issues.
That's a really interesting point. AI as a research and organizational assistant, maybe, letting the humans focus on the higher-level strategic and analytical parts?
That seems to be one potential role, yes. Streamlining the initial stages to allow more time for the core reasoning.
But were there any potential downsides the graders picked up on? It can't all be positive, surely.
No, and they did note a couple of potential drawbacks. They observed that, in some instances, the AI seemed to lead to an oversimplification of complex legal questions.
Okay, losing nuance.
Potentially. And as we discussed earlier with O1 Preview in particular, there were cases where relevant legal authorities were just omitted, left out of the analysis entirely.
Not good.
Definitely not. Conversely, they noted that students using Vincent AI sometimes seem to struggle with identifying the core legal issue in the broader, more open-ended assignments.
So maybe too focus on the sources provided by the AI, perhaps.
That's one possibility. It highlights that while AI offers significant benefits, it's absolutely not a perfect solution. It requires careful oversight and critical judgment from the user.
It sounds like these tools are powerful, yes, but need to be wielded thoughtfully. Now, the study also looked at something else important, how these tools impacted participants with different levels of existing legal skills. Did everyone benefit equally?
This is a crucial area, thinking about equity in training. And the study yielded some important findings here. It appears that individuals who had lower baseline skills,
Measured by GPA or...
measured by their prior academic performance, like GPA, or their performance on the tasks where they didn't use AI, those individuals tended to experience greater quality improvements when using O1 Preview.
Really? So the reasoning model helped the lower performers more.
In terms of quality gains, yes. It seemed to help raise the floor, as the researchers put it, for those who might have been struggling more initially.
That's a really significant finding. Suggests AI could be a valuable tool for supporting students or junior lawyers who need more help.
It does. It's an important consideration for legal education and professional development.
What about Vincent AI, the RI tool? Did it have a similar effect across different skill levels?
For Vincent AI, the impact on the overall quality scores seemed to be more consistent across the different skill levels. It helped everyone sort of equally in that regard. However, the productivity gains observed with Vincent AI did show more variability. That suggested that some students benefited more in terms of efficiency than others using that tool.
So different AIs might interact differently with user skill levels depending on whether you're looking at quality or speed. It's not a one-size-fits-all scenario.
Exactly. It highlights the need to understand these nuances when choosing and implementing AI tools.
Makes sense. Now, after spending all this time working with these tools, what did the students themselves think? What were their overall impressions? Did they feel helped?
That's always interesting, the user perception. The post-experiment surveys revealed that the participants generally believed that both AI tools enhanced both the quality and the speed of their work.
Okay, so a strong positive endorsement from the users.
Pretty much. And perception definitely plays a role in adoption, right? Even if the objective data tells one story.
Absolutely. If the users feel more confident and efficient, that's a significant factor in whether they'll actually use the tool. Were there any differences in how they perceived the two specific tools?
Yes, interestingly, they tended to perceive O1 Preview as being particularly effective for improving speed,
Okay.
while they viewed Vincent AI as being more helpful for enhancing the quality of their work.
Huh. But that's a slight contrast to the actual measured results you mentioned earlier, isn't it?
It is. The data showed both had pretty comparable effects on speed overall, and O1 Preview actually showed broader quality improvements in some analytical areas, despite the hallucination issue.
So their subjective experience didn't perfectly map onto the objective data.
Correct. Which really highlights the importance of doing this kind of rigorous empirical research rather than just relying on anecdotes or user surveys alone.
Good point.
But that said, overall, there was a high level of satisfaction reported with using both tools. Vincent AI received particularly positive feedback regarding its ease of use, which is also important.
Ease of use definitely matters. Okay, so this study looked at O1 Preview and Vincent AI individually, but the researchers also talk about the potential synergy, right? Combining these different approaches.
They did, and this is a really exciting prospect for the future of legal AI. The researchers emphasized that the distinct strengths of RAG, its ability to ground AI in real legal sources, reduce hallucination,
Right, the accuracy piece.
and the strengths of reasoning models with their enhanced analytical capabilities.
Mhm.
They see these as inherently complementary.
Like having the best of both worlds.
That's the idea. RGE ensures the foundation is solid and accurate, while the reasoning model can then build deeper insights and more sophisticated arguments based on that accurate information.
So integrating these could lead to even greater benefit.
Exactly. They use the term multiplicative benefits. Imagine AI that can both reason deeply and reliably access and utilize the correct legal authorities without making things up. That's the goal.
And we're already seeing legal tech companies moving in this direction, aren't we? Trying to blend these capabilities.
Absolutely. The industry is actively exploring and implementing these combined strategies. This study really just underscores the immense potential of that direction.
It feels like this whole field is moving incredibly fast. How crucial is it then that we continue to conduct this kind of rigorous empirical evaluation of these tools as they evolve?
The study authors really hammer this point home. They strongly emphasize that ongoing empirical evaluation using robust methods like these randomized controlled trials is absolutely essential.
Why is that so critical?
Because traditional ways of benchmarking AI, often borrowed from other fields like, general natural language processing, they might not fully capture the complexities of sophisticated legal tasks.
No, right. Legal reasoning is different.
It is, and it doesn't capture the nuances of how humans actually interact and collaborate with AI in a specifically legal context. We need evaluation methods tailored to the unique demands of law.
So develop a more legally focused framework for assessing AI capabilities and limitations.
Precisely. The study really serves as a call to action for the entire legal community, law firms, tech developers, law schools, to proactively and thoughtfully test and integrate AI tools, but based on solid evidence, not just hype.
And what about law schools specifically? Any suggestions there?
Yeah, they suggest, for instance, exploring how AI could be used to provide more personalized feedback to students. Or using studies like this to better understand how interacting with AI impacts the development of those fundamental legal reasoning skills themselves.
That's huge. It's not just about adopting technology. It's about understanding how it fundamentally changes legal work and legal education.
Exactly. We need to understand not just if AI can do tasks faster, but how it influences the development of future lawyers and the ultimate quality of legal services.
Okay, so bringing it all together for our listeners, what's the key message, the big takeaway from this deep dive into this fascinating study?
I think the overarching message is that these newer AI technologies, particularly reasoning models like O1 Preview and Aura Grady-powered tools like Vincent AI, they show really significant potential to enhance both the quality and the efficiency of legal work, especially, it seems, in litigation-related tasks for now.
And while each has its strengths and weaknesses, that trade-off between analytical power and hallucination risk, for example.
Right. But their combined potential to really transform the legal profession looks substantial.
So the big aha for you is that this isn't just about making legal work faster anymore. It's about the real possibility of achieving better legal analysis and writing. That feels like a truly significant development.
Absolutely. That's the potential game changer here. And while this deep dive gives us valuable insights into where we are
It
now,
also raises a ton of questions for the future.
it really does. Important questions for everyone listening to think about. How might integrating these powerful tools reshape the day-to-day practice of law? What new skills will lawyers and legal professionals need? How will legal ethics adapt? And maybe most importantly, how will this tech shift ultimately impact access to justice, the accessibility and affordability of legal services?
These are all crucial questions, absolutely. Things we'll likely be exploring in future deep dives. So here's maybe a final thought for you, our listener. As AI continues its incredibly rapid evolution, how will you engage with these tools? Whether you're a legal professional navigating this changing landscape, or maybe just someone keen to understand this major technological shift, how will you approach it?
Because the journey of AI in law is really just beginning, isn't it?
It really feels that way. And the insights from this study offer a valuable roadmap, or at least some useful signposts, for understanding what might lie ahead. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.